Hey guys, welcome back. As I said before, when you're gardening, you get a lot of cucumbers, a lot of pickles, and you gotta find ways to use them. So here's another recipe. This one involves a 4-day process for canning. They are called, some people call them Christmas pickles, some people call them cinnamon pickles, some people call them red hot pickles. So it depends on what you want to call them. But first day I already did, because I didn't have the camera. So first day we already did. I'm going to tell you that process, and then you go into day 2. So let's dive in. So day 1, guys, you're going to take your pickles. I'm using regular cucumbers, not the pickling cucumbers. Peel them after cleaning them. Slice them down the middle. Scoop all the seeds out. And then you're going to cut them up. You can cut them whatever size you want. I did kind of celery type rings. That's what I chose to do. Once that part is done, you're going to take some type of crock or glass container, not aluminum, preferably not even plastic. But you're going to take, I did a half-gallon jar. So for that half-gallon, I have a pound of pickles. 2 pounds. 2 pounds of pickles. Gotta think. So I did a 1/4 cup of this pickling and canning, not pickling and canning salt, that's not it. Pickling lime. I don't have that out. It's a similar bag, but it's pickling lime. Thought I had the right one out. Joke's on me. But you're going to do a 1/4 cup of pickling lime, and then 2 quarts of water for 2 pounds of cucumbers. Then you're going to fill all of your cucumbers into the jar after mixing your pickling lime in. And you're going to get a white residue at the bottom once it settles. That's normal. This is going to sit for 24 hours. Once 24 hours is up, you're going to drain these. And then they have to sit in cold water for 4 hours. We're at the draining step. We're going to drain these and rinse them real good. And then put them into a pot in cold water so they can sit. And as you can see, it's definitely not covered, so we're going to put that water over it. And now we're just going to let that simmer for 2 hours. Like I said, there's a lot of steps to this. Now, your final step for day 2 is getting the juice ready for your red hot pickles, your cinnamon pickles, which is going to be 1.5 cups of water, 1.5 cups of white vinegar, 5 cups of sugar, 6 ounces of red hots, and half a teaspoon of salt. This is because I'm only making 2 pounds worth of pickles. Many people do closer to 5 pounds, so you would double that recipe. But I'm only making half the recipe that most people would make. But that way, this is melted down and ready to go once your pickles are ready to go. My pickles have about 15 more minutes of a simmer. And by then, everything should be melted here so we can get it all put together. We're going to add the pickles into that. And then just let it sit overnight until tomorrow. So guys, we're on to day 3 with the pickles. We're going to strain off the liquid from the pickles and just put the pickles into another bowl. You could use a strainer and just strain it off that way. I'm just using a spoon. A slotted spoon. It works. We're going to get all those pickles out of there. And then bring your mixture back up to a boil for 1 minute. Then you're going to pour the liquid over your pickles again. And then let it sit 24 hours. This is a long process for these. And yes, I'm aware that my pickles look like celery. Red celery now. That's just what I decided to do. Okay, now we're going to get that boiling for 1 minute. So after you've done day 3 and day 4, like I said, it's a repeat. You do the same thing. You're on day 5. It's time to finally can these pickles. So that's what they're going to look like. You're going to get your water for your water bath boiling. Have your jars inside, starting to disinfect. And you're going to pack these up. Once your jars are heated up, disinfected, you're going to put your wide mouth funnel on and you're going to put your pickles into the jar. So I made 2.5 pints. We're heating up the juice. We're going to pour over the pickles once it's warm. And then you got to process it in the water bath. You want to fill this to a 1/2 inch of headspace. I don't have my little wand, but remove your air bubbles. So you're just going to kind of go down the walls. Make sure all the air bubbles are out. And then wipe your rims. I recommend you wipe these rims because if just a little bit of that liquid dripped on there, it's sticky. It wasn't tipped over this morning when I got up, so she had to have just done that. Once you got your jars packed, you're going to put your clean lids on. They no longer have to be boiled according to ball. So you're just going to put them onto your clean jars and then finger tighten your bands. Stay. Once you got your lids on, you're going to put them in your canner lower them into the water. Make sure the water covers them by 2 inches. And then once it's boiling again, you start your timer. 10 minutes at a rolling boil for the water bath time on the cinnamon pickles. Once you remove those jars, you're going to remove the band. You don't want to leave the band on for storage because it can prematurely cause your seal to break. But also, if by chance you have a false seal, it can unseal. And with the band still on there, it's pushing it up against there again, or against the glass again. So it could reseal if given the right opportunities. So you could end up having something that's got bacteria within it from unsealing, but it's been resealed so you would never know. So take that band off. You want to store it with no band. You're canning it to create a vacuum seal. It's not the band that's holding that lid on, it is the vacuum seal. So once it's out, you're going to check, make sure that middle is not up, make sure it's not making a sound, and then you want to make sure you can pick up the jar by the lid. If you can pick it up by that lid and it doesn't come off, it's not loose, it's got a good seal. You can now put it on your shelf, and it is good for at least a year and a half according to ball standards. If you're using ball lids. I'm not using ball lids, but they're good for at least a year to eat. It will degrade over time the longer it sits on a shelf, but you've got at least a year of good fresh food that's going to be healthy and still retain the same freshness. Happy canning, guys. Hope you learned something, and we'll catch you on the next one.